As the situation continues to get worse across the globe, Kieran, and it's certainly a matter of great concern in the United States, where there are more than 20,000 cases. And of course, America got off to a very slow start, a very slow response to this challenge. In New York State, there are more than 8,000 cases, and it's increased tenfold over the course of the last week. New York City hospitals are now under enormous strain. One of the really critical questions here is, given the role of the United States and given its importance in the global economy, what are going to be the consequences if this virus really gets a grip on America? At the same time, of course, the geostrategic situation is moving almost as fast as the virus. And I just point out to you, just consider the strategic consequences for the world if at the end of the day there are more deaths from this virus in the United States than there have been in China, where the virus first originated. And we can already see that there is competition going on between China and the United States about their respective systems and about who is to blame and who can solve the problem. This is very dangerous.
It sure is, in so many ways and at different levels. Let's look at the economic danger right now in the short term here. This latest $60 billion plus package, it comes barely more than a week since the first effort of about $18 billion. What do you make of this effort, Paul?
Well, look, there are a couple of really critical points to make about today's package, Kieran. As you say, it's a very, very substantial package, not far south of $70 billion, designed to support business, to keep people at work, designed to underwrite business loans and provide income support. So it's very substantial in its own right. The second point to make is that Scott Morrison, for the past few days, has been talking about this package as designed to cushion the impact. Now, just think about those words. What this means, of course, is that the government can't stop the economic impact. So regardless of today's package, it can't solve the problem. Nothing can solve the problem at this stage. The economic ramifications are simply going to be too dangerous. So any package will fall short. That's why, in the interview you just did with the Finance Minister, Matthias Cormann, he made it clear that in no way is this the end of the story, that the government has got to ready itself to do more as we go down the track, because this is going to be a long battle and the government knows that it's going to have to take further action.
And in terms of the other action this week from the RBA, talk us through the significance of measures from the central bank.
This was a big week in terms of the decisions taken by the Reserve Bank under Governor Philip Lowe and the decision taken by the private banks in negotiations with the Treasurer, Josh Frydenberg. First of all, to the central bank and the government. They're pumping an extra $105 billion into the financial system. This is designed to keep low the price of credit and to provide more incentive for lenders to lend. These are unprecedented measures by the central bank. The governor's language was very, very strong. He warned of the danger of permanent damage to the Australian economy. He talked about the need to create a bridge to enable the Australian economy to get to the other side of the bridge, and the Prime Minister took up this language. And finally, the commitment of the banks is very important in terms of deferring small business loan repayments for loans covering $100 billion for 6 months, the 6-month period being insisted on by the Prime Minister. Overall, radical, unprecedented measures.
And Paul, finally, you wrote in the paper yesterday, this is not just a test for Morrison, it's a test of the Australian character. If the people fail, he fails.
Absolutely correct. We're all social beings, and the problem with this virus is that the solution for individuals is to become antisocial. people have got to work from home, they've got to self-isolate, they've got to involve themselves in social distancing according to the 4 square metre principle the Prime Minister talked about, and to a significant extent a lot of people are not doing this. We saw the Bondi Beach saga over the last couple of days, Kieran. I mean, I did my own anecdotal survey across several suburbs yesterday, observing what was going on. Clearly, while some people are observing the social distancing, many are not. And I think we've got 2 really diabolical contradictions here the Prime Minister and the leadership of the country have got to come to grips with. One we know about, and that is the contradiction between fighting the virus and saving the economy. We've got to take significant measures to shut down the economy to fight the virus, so that is a terrible dilemma. But the second dilemma is very clear. It hasn't got all that much attention. Scott Morrison has got to jolt and shock the public into taking these social distancing measures on the one hand, while he's got to maintain morale on the other. Morale is very important, and all the time he's got to sell the message, we will get across the bridge, we will get through this. We've got to work together to get there. So these 2 diabolical, contradictory messages are a great dilemma for the leadership, but that's what they've got to work on.
Yeah, very, very challenging, as every element to this seems to be. Paul, I appreciate it as always. Paul Kelly will talk to you during the week.
Thanks, Kieran.